You haven't been the most welcoming, but I completely understand why you'd be upset in the whole situation. But because, yeah, you did the same thing coming in, like with Samantha.
But how do you feel like I've not been welcoming? In what sense?
Okay, what do I think? I don't even know where to start. The audacity for Grace to pretend like she didn't know that she's been horrible to Jessy with a Y doesn't make sense for me. For her to be surprised that she hasn't been very welcoming doesn't make sense. And I never thought I would say it. I have to give credit for Jess because she called out, the double standard with Grace and sort of reminded her of how she behaved when she walked into the villa and Joey was coupled up with Samantha. And then, Casa started. I don't think the boys are that bad looking. I don't understand why people are criticizing them. I think they're not bad. They're not the most handsome, but also at the same time, the guys in the villa are not the most handsome. So it is what it is. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 11, Episode 24. It's interesting watching, the Islanders watch Harriet and Ronnie go because I really liked them. I liked their messiness. They were never vindictive towards someone or malicious towards anyone. I just liked how messy they were in regards to their relationship. Yes, they weren't always on the same page, but Ronnie, I said it before, I'll say it again, had a lot of respect for Harriet because the way he moved around Harriet was totally different to how he treated Jess. You could tell he didn't really care about Jess once she saved him. And so everyone is sort of sulking. They're talking about, there were big characters, they've gone, they're big characters, they'll be missed. And Matilda is crying because Matilda had become very close friends with Harriet. And Matilda also knew Ronnie from before she came into the villa. So two people that she was closest to have gone. So she is bound to be affected by that. Grace was consoling her. Well, it used to be the three of them most of the time. So it's sad to see Harriet go. I really liked her. I really liked her little tantrums and stuff that she used to do. That was amazing to me. And then the audacity for Jess to say, well, I tried to offer an olive branch and she just ignored me. And it's like, you've taunted this girl for 3 weeks. You've traumatized her. You've bullied her. You've done everything you could think of just because a guy liked her more than he liked you. And now suddenly, because she's walking out the door, you want to be nicey. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. And for her to make the face she made, you can see that Trey's turned off. He's not feeling her anymore because she kept talking and they said, it's let bygones be bygones. And it's like, well, he wants to move on. He's not liking this topic and he's not liking the look because it's not a good look for Jess anyway. So he gave her a kiss and then he made a face and I'm like, this guy's just staying so that he can stay till Casa and find his person. And it's like, this guy really can't stand Jess. He's really seen the dark side of Jess and he's been turned off. So he's just trying to do his best to stay in the villa until he gets to Casa. And it's like, hey, it is what it is. Grace walks over and she's busy talking about Joey and Jessy with a Y. I know she doesn't owe me any allegiance, but it's wrong. The fact that, they're doing what they're doing. And I have to give credit to Jess and surprise, I'm even surprised myself that I'm giving credit to Jess, but she said to her, what's happening now is what happened when you came in, because he completely ignored Samantha and he turned all his attention to you, and the same thing is happening. And you could see Grace wasn't happy. She wasn't happy with that because now it's making, it's taking the empathy away because she wants the empathy. She wants people to feel sorry for her. And it's like, no, you came in, you did the same thing. Now the same thing is happening to you. You're suddenly victim. Why? The same way you were behaving and giggling and giddy and making out and having sex with Joey is the same way he's doing with somebody else. So you have to suck it up, buttercup, and move on. Joey then pulled her for a chat. And, well, I think when Joey pulled her for a chat, I think she thought he was coming to say, okay, I'm sorry you were vulnerable. I really feel bad. I really want us to get back together. And so for him to say to her, I want to find love. You want to find love. I have to do what's best for me. You have to do what's best for you. And if that means we try with other people, then that's what we're going to do. And it's like, oh, this is not what she wanted to hear. This is not what she wanted to hear. And you could tell on her face that she didn't want to hear it. And it's like, well, you told him if you took her to the terrace, then we're done. He's told you he's taken her to the terrace. He's making out with her in bed. What more do you want? And so even when the islanders got ready for bed, you had Joey sort of telling the guys, because they were asking him, are you and Grace over? And he went, yeah, that's what she says. So I have to do me, she has to do her. And she's still sulking, and it's like, girl, you need to let Jessy with a Y out of your prison. She has nothing to do with this. It's Joey Essex. She is not encouraging him. He is actually chasing her like a dog in heat. So speak to your man, find out where he stands, and leave this poor girl alone. So the islanders go to sleep, and everyone, I think it's only Mimi and Ayo and Grace and Connor who weren't making out. Everybody else was making out. And it's like, but all of you were crying for Ronnie and Jess, and now you've forgotten and you're already making out in bed. And Joey Essex, he knows Grace feels some type of way, but he's quick to make out with Jessy with a Y. And it's like, well, he's gone. In the morning, obviously, there's no debrief. Hooray! So you have Trey make breakfast for Jess, and it's like, this guy is really trying. He's really not feeling her like that, but he's really making an effort because he wants to stay in this villa. So the only way he can do that is make an impression on Jess, and that way the rest of the guys are going to keep her because they're going to say, oh, Jess really likes her, so if we send him home, who will stay with her? That's the impression that I get. And then I didn't quite understand Jess's conversation with Jessy with a Y, because they sat there, and okay, it was good that she was giving her a heads up, but I wasn't sure whether she was giving her a heads up from a place of love or from a place of sort of criticism, as in like, why are you doing the same thing that, Grace did when she came in? And so I hope the advice was constructive. And Jessy with a Y, I've said it before, she is very smart. She is not throwing herself on Joey Essex. She's making him work for it. He's having to work to win her. And so in making him work, this is why he keeps being interested, and this is why he's run away from Grace, because with Grace, he knows he can get whatever he wants whenever he wants it. So it was good in a sense that Jessy gave her a heads up just for her to know where she stands. But also they discussed the fact that the girls haven't been the nicest to her. They haven't been the nicest to her, especially Grace. Grace has been horrible. And it's like, why? You came in as a bombshell, you stole Joey from Samantha, people didn't alienate you, and yet you have decided to alienate this girl. Why? What makes you think that is fair? This is what I said last week, that the producers should be held accountable because they are allowing bullying to take place and they're not doing anything to stop it. They need to stop these girls from bullying one another and tell them that it's unacceptable. Yes, you can disagree, but then your disagreement shouldn't be vindictive or malicious. And so that needs to be sorted out. And then you have Jess speaking to Grace. It seems now Jess is now the center since Harriet is gone. Well, she's speaking to Grace and sort of saying to her, oh, I'm getting the ick. And it's like, seriously, you're getting the ick from this guy? Well, you better pray that they send good guys in Casa Amor, because if they send what they normally send, you're going to regret your decision and you're going to be begging for the same person you said you're getting the ick from. None of the guys, including Ronnie, even made your breakfast. He made your breakfast, he folded the napkins for you, and you were actually teasing him and stuff. And now suddenly he's not good enough for you. Who do you think would like someone like you, given how you've carried yourself in the villa? Huh? I am here for Jessy with a Y, making Joey earn it, because they're having a conversation. Obviously, they're discussing their current situation and their situation with Grace. And, they do bring up the fact that Grace hasn't been the friendliest to her, which is really bad that she would behave in such a manner, knowing for a fact that everyone is there to look for love and she can't hate someone just because somebody else likes them. And then Joey is trying to sort of rationalize what's taking place. I think she feels that way because, you and I have a stronger connection. And she went, well, the thing is, you're doing to her what you did to Samantha. And when the next girl comes in, you're going to do the same to me. And that took him back because he didn't expect that. I think Joey Essex thought she would be impressed by the fact that he's Joey Essex and she'd do anything and everything that he wanted. So the fact that she's challenging him, I think this is what is keeping him interested. And this is what is making him want to win her more, because he's thinking, how can she not see who I am? Why is she not recognizing me as Joey Essex? I don't go out chase girls, they chase me. And so I love that. You then have Nicole receive a text message to say the girls are going for a date, just for a catch up and coffees and spa day, and the boys are sort of taken aback. And it's like, this is a bit, every single year the girls are given these spa days and the boys barely get anything. Like now the guys haven't done anything. I think the only person who's actually had an amazing date was Joey. It was Joey, it was okay, but Ayo got to, sail the boat, and Ronnie also had an amazing date, but poor Kieran, he had nothing. He had to pack his own food. So anyway, the girls are excited that they are leaving, and the boys are really sad, so they decide to have a pool party because they are left on their own. What else can they do? So the girls decide to iron out their grievances, and the main thing is Grace and Jessy with a Y. Because Jessy with a Y lets it be known that she hasn't felt most welcome by Grace. And Grace is like, oh, I never did anything. I didn't do anything. If I made you feel that way, I'm sorry. And it's like, seriously, why are you lying? Why are you lying? And why are the girls not calling you out? This has been my issue with the girls from this year's Love Island, in the sense that they are happy to go like with the wind, like leaves in the wind. They'll blow wherever the wind is going. That's where they go. They should have held Grace's feet to the fire to say, you made Samantha feel the same way and we had to sort of lift her up. You should do the same for somebody else because you know how it feels. You've been at the receiving end of Joey's love and you've also been at the receiving end of Joey's heartbreak. So you should understand from both angles and you should empathize with this guy. Well, I had history with him. This was yeah, you had history, but so he is now making new history with somebody else. You need to recognize that, because if he breaks up with Jessy with a Y today and then he meets a couple of months down the line and he decides to to date her again, they will automatically have had history. Oh well, I felt some type of way about you kissing him while I was still doing something with him. And it's like, please, were you in a couple with him? No. Were you exploring a connection? Yes. Was Jessy with a Y exploring a connection? Yes. So what's the difference apart from the fact that you had history with him? Were you married to him? No. Did Jessy push him to kiss her? No. So please sit down. Please sit down. We're not here for that nonsense. We need to move on. Anyway, the girls then start talking about their connections and how they feel. And Nicole is, I'm beginning to build a lot of trust with Kieran. And it's like, please sit down. I am not here for this. Yes, you were telling him that this is the most content you've been before they left the villa. And it's like, you're content for 2 minutes. Let Casa start. Now Casa started, you're now going to start stressing. Oh, well, it's just because I stress a lot. Yeah, you stress a lot. And you're going to stress this poor boy. Oh, but at least he's told me he loves me first. No, he hasn't told anyone. How do you know? What if the ex-girlfriend comes out and says, well, actually, he told me he loves me first? Are you going to throw a fit about that as well? I don't get it. Anyway, all the girls are happy. Uma is ecstatic. She wants to have Will's babies. And it's like, maybe pump your brakes. Because Will wanted to be picked by Jessy with a Y. So maybe he's not as into you as you think. Maybe wait until after Casa Amor. Anyway, they receive a text message. Uma receives a text message to say the girls are going to Casa Amor. So the boys pick up their drinks. Obviously, they're celebrating. They're looking forward to the girls. And after they pick up their drinks, they find out that the girls actually have gone to Casa Amor. Joey's stressed about how are they going to entertain themselves. Sean is worried because he thinks his girl is gone. And then you have Ayo. Ayo's concern is, so are the girls excited or not? This is what I want to know. Are they gassed? And it's like, well, you'll find out. So it seems Casa Amor is taking place at the sleepover where they had the sleepover. So that's going to be amazing. And it's like, so was Ronnie banned from coming back to the sleepover or what? Make it make sense. I don't understand why he didn't get to go to Casa Amor. Because they have 6 guys turn up. Well, and they have 7 girls, and it's like, why? Is it because Nicole has told you that she's not going to entertain anyone, so you've decided not to waste your time? Because you should have got rid of one of the girls before you brought the Casa boys. The boys, well, I like their age ranges because they're 24. There's only one 22-year-old, and I think he's just there for the followers. Because you have Jake, who's 25, Blade is 29, Joel is 22. He's just finished uni. He's a content creator, and it's like he's here for followers, for his content. Lionel is okay. So Lionel, Hugo, and Mosiah are all 24. And looking at them, I know people have been criticizing, oh, they're not that good looking. I think they're way better looking than what they had as a couple of seasons ago. So I think they're not bad looking. I think the only problem is Mosiah with his hairstyle. It's a bit off-putting for me, personally for me. He could have done cornrows, he could have done anything else, but the hairstyle for me is a no. And so it'll be interesting to see how the girls react when they first see them. The boys are sulking because, they're just on their own. They have nothing to do really but just sit and stare at one another. And it's not like they can play games in the dark or anything. And all they're doing is listening out for Casa Amor. And so the guys are sort of talking about the girls and what might be going on. And then Ayo brings up the fact that Sean has been very quiet since they found out the girls were going to Casa. And it's like, Sean knows it's taken him a while to find someone. So the idea that the person he's found is now suddenly out of reach and might be taken by somebody else, I think this is why he's panicking. There's no other reason. Anyway, the islanders decide to play truth or dare. And for me, that is very tricky. How do you play truth or dare with people that you've just met? It doesn't make sense. And so it was interesting that Grace, now we know who's Grace's type. Now we know who Grace's type is. Because when she was asked who she likes, she pointed at Blade. And Blade was asked to kiss the 3 girls that he liked. He decided to kiss Uma, who just gave him a couple of pecks. With Grace, she actually kissed him, and he also kissed Harriet. Well, Jess was asked to lick the chest of the 2 guys that she liked, and she licked Hugo, and I think it was Jake was the other one that she licked. And with Lionel, he was asked to suck the finger of the girl that he likes, and he sucked Mimi's finger, and she was embarrassed. With Jessy with a Y, she said she would like to share a bed with Hugo. And then when Uma was asked to sort of kiss the guy she wants to, or suck the nipple of the guy she wants to share a bed with, she went for Hugo, if I'm not mistaken. And Jess was like, okay, Hugo, who were you looking forward to talking to when you walked in? And you went, Jess? And it's like, why does everything have to be a competition? Why does everything have to be a competition with Jess? Is she that insecure? I have a feeling that something happened between Jess and Uma that we have not, as the viewers, been shown, because they're not as friendly as they were at the start. They're sort of avoiding each other somehow. Even when they're sitting sort of with a couple of people sort of in between them. And so for Jess to sort of do that was very messy and very shady, because it was sort of a one-upping Uma that as much as you like this guy and you want to share a bed with him, he likes me more, so there's nothing you can do. And it's like, this is why she had a problem with Harriet. And now she has the same problem with Uma. And you could see the look on Uma's face. She wasn't happy when she asked, who would you like to share? Who were you looking forward to talk to? Uma felt some type of way, and it's like, oh my God. At least with Uma, she can speak up for herself. All Harriet could do was just cry. So in the main villa, you have the guys sort of sitting by the fire pit. You have Will, Kieran, and Ayo just having a conversation, because Kieran has already mentioned it when he was asked by Nicole that how do you feel about your closest friend in the villa going, in the sense of Ronnie, and he said, yeah, Ronnie and Ayo are my closest friends in here. They sort of treat me like their little brother. So they're having a conversation about whose head is going to turn and what's likely to happen. And Kieran was saying, well, they did have a conversation with Nicole about trust, and he was worried that she might not trust him and think, his head might turn, or she might turn her head because she thinks, he's going to do the same. And it's like, it is what it is. I don't think she's it for you. I think she's too much, because you then have at the villa, you then have at Casa, Blade is asked, who of the 3 guys do you think their head is likely to turn? And obviously Joey Essex is a given. Even a blind man, as long as you've watched it, you'll know that Joey's head is at risk of turning. He also says, Will, am I surprised? No, because because Will was really interested in Jessy with a Y. It's just her head didn't sort of turn for him, but he really was keen for her to pick him. And then he says Kieran, and you can see the wheels turning in Nicole's head, because now she's already panicking. If she had her way, she would be scaling the wall to the main villa to see what Kieran's up to. And it's like, well, I hope his head turns. I really do, because I think she's a bit too much for him. I think she's a bit too much. She was asked, who do you think is likely to threaten Kieran? And she picked Jake because she says he plays rugby. And it's like, okay, if that's what works for you, I don't know. It will be interesting to see. I can't wait for Casa to end. The boys this season, I know people are dragging them and saying, oh, they're not good looking. We've had worse. That year we had Rowan Keaton's son. Oh, that was even worse. So I think the guys are actually good looking. They're not bad. They might not be A-star, but also the guys in the main villa are not the most good looking guys. So you can't knock the guys that they have at the moment. Tomorrow the girls are coming and the girls look stunning. The boys are in for a rude awakening, and hopefully Ayo's head does not turn. Anyway, I digress. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 23. Bye guys.